What's going on, everybody? It's well, we're a little late getting started, but that's okay. That because we've got a great show in store for you tonight. So with that, we're gonna get started, man. It's Friday night. It's quarter after 7. I'm Billy,
And I'm Bobby.
and this is the Billy and Bobby Slingshot Show. What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for coming back and listening to us ramble for the next hour or 45 minutes, I should say. Tonight we have a great show in store for you. And before we get started, have you ever asked yourself, hey, I see a lot of questions out there about people that want to rent their slingshot. Now, whether it be Turo, I mean, we get the questions are all over the place on the forum board. Man, what's it cost, and what do you got to do, and all that stuff. And we're going to dive into a little bit tonight on that. But I want to welcome our guest, and it's Mr. Billy Weisner himself. What's going on, man?
What's up? I am going to hop. I have a laptop. I'm going to hop on the laptop. This computer sucks. Let me hop on this laptop.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Well, while he's getting that, we're going to get started. So, guys, we have a couple of sponsors of the show, as you know. Light the Night is our main sponsor, followed very, very closely by DDM Works, and I want to give a shout out to Vernon, who is killing it currently at the three-wheel rally. Let me tell you, he's giving away some money. Did you see the other day, Bobby, that they given away $2,000 per class? Did you happen to see that?
I think I did. In fact, I saw they're raising the stakes. They're definitely making it worth it to LEDs on your slingshot. That's
they are making it happen. And let me just tell you, it's unbelievable. I know the guys over at Alamo Cycle and step the game up a little bit. Let me just see if we can get. He just dropped back out, and Robert just dropped out. You there? There we go. All right, Bobby's back. Guys, I am so sorry for the technical difficulties. We're doing our best. Billy, we have a black screen, but can you at least hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I cannot see you get a black screen, but you know what? That's okay. We'll work it out. So, like I said, the guys, what we're gonna do here? Yeah, we'll just do this. So basically, the guys at Alamo Works, Cycle Works, said we're gonna step up the game. We're gonna add another $1,000 to it. So we're gonna be giving away $2,000 versus $1,000 in each class. And let me tell you, that is off the charts. That's unheard of. There's a lot of guys putting out rallies, a lot of guys doing really good work with rallies. But man, I want to give it up for Vernon for really making it worthwhile. I mean, a lot of these folks come from all over the country to do these rallies, and to be able to win $1,000, $2,000, depending on what it is, for their hard work, I think that says a lot. So, would you agree with me on that, Bobby? Okay, well, there we go. Would you agree with me on that?
And you put in the work, you put in, and then you want to go see how you compare with other folks, and on top of it like that.
Oh, hey,
Ooh.
Billy's on. Oh man, the video just
Yeah.
showed up. Hey,
Yes.
listen, guys. Again, I want to apologize for the technical difficulties. Sometimes when you're talking to people from all parts of the country, man, it's hard to get it all, technology, getting it all set together. So we're gonna work through it. Just hang with us. It's gonna be great. So let's hop right into it. Billy, you own Galveston Slingshot Rentals. Is that what your business is, man?
Yes, sir. So I own one here in Galveston. I own another one in Gulf Shores, Alabama. I co-own one in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and have a couple other things in the works, as well as help people get other slingshot rental businesses started, exploring some other avenues as well. So I eat, sleep, and breathe slingshots 24/7.
Dude, well, that's what we like because I know Bobby and I. That's pretty much what we are. There's not a day that goes by that we're not like, dude, what else can we do? What can we buy? An entrepreneur like yourself, man, you're kind of getting your hand a little bit of everything as it relates to slingshots, and that's awesome, man. To have multiple locations and working with a variety of different people really just it really makes things good for everybody because I will tell you that's how I bought my slingshot. So my wife and I, we rented a slingshot. We drove it around Pikes Peak, fell in love with it. My wife flew to Vegas while she was gone. I bought a slingshot. And that's usually how it works, but we haven't looked back since and we absolutely love it. So that's awesome. So
you're like a prime example. A lot of people say, why do you buy and sell so many slingshots? Why are you always trying to sell these? Because I have so many people that rent them like yourself. They fall in love and they want to buy them. So I always try to have a couple ready to go because people will try to buy my rentals, but I'm in we'll talk about it probably later on, but I'm in a kind of a special category where I actually don't buy or sell my rentals. They're all leased.
Yeah, and I do definitely want to talk about that. One thing I want to start with was, how did you get started with this? What made you get the slingshot bug, if you will?
So in 2018, the origin story, my dad lives in Vegas part-time. I went out to Vegas, saw slingshots out there for the first time and was like, man, I bet I could do that in Galveston. I bet I could rent one or two. And man, I didn't probably have $1 to my name at the time. I was a server at Bubba Gump's and worked for my dad part-time as well, and talked my dad into financing me 2 slingshots. And he basically said, here's 2 slingshots, good luck. And from 2018, I started on the seawall, which is like right there on the beach with a rent me sign and a rent me flag, like a lemonade stand, like begging people, please rent my slingshots. And from there, it caught on, and from 2 to 4 to 4 to 6, and here we are today with 22 just here in Galveston.
Wow, 22 slingshots in Galveston alone. That's amazing.
That's
you've really grown.
Yeah, that's not counting the 4-seaters either. That's just 2-seaters.
What year did you start all this?
This was 2018, and so about a year into it, I started with 2. About a year into it, I was up to 4. And I got a random call from a Minnesota area code, and it was one of the head guys at Polaris. And they said, hey, we're starting this program. We've done our research on you, and it's a brand new program. We think you'd be a great fit. And they flew someone down here. I had a meeting with them. And long story short, I was the very first Polaris Adventures outfitter for slingshots. Now, there was a couple other guys that started right when I did, but I can say that I was the first one to sign and get my slingshot. So there was a couple right there with me, but we were there's a couple guys still in Polaris Adventures that are still with us, but we were like the pioneers of that division, I guess you could say.
So for those of you, or for those of the ones listening that aren't familiar, let's talk about the Polaris Adventures program. Talk a little bit about that.
So what Polaris Adventures does is it's a win-win for both of us. They provide us adventure guys with new units every year. We get the insurance, we get website building, reservation systems, all this great stuff. And it depends on what contract or this and that you do, but they give you new units every year. And so you don't have to buy or sell. So you just lease them. And then you always get the new units, and you get a lot of back end help from them as well, with a lot of cool things involved. But that's a big thing because nowadays it's just so hard to get insurance if you're trying to be in the rental business. So it's a blessing for sure.
And we're going to talk about insurance because I think that is a key part of all of this. And guys, I want as we go through this, I want you to know that the point of today's podcast is to talk. I really want to promote Billy's business because he's out there, he's killing it. He's got these slingshots. He's helping the people, and he's just an overall great guy. I got a chance to meet him. Bobby and I both did when we were in Houston at Sling Experience, and I tell you, your personal slingshot. I assume that's your personal one, the blue and the pink one, dude. That's banging. That thing is gorgeous. I love the colors. I love the lights. I mean, you've got a ton. How many strips you have on that thing?
Man, I lost count. I went way farther than I ever thought I would go. And then, sure enough, here comes Sling a Nut House and everybody else. And now I'm like, y'all can have it. I'm beat. I'm good. Hey, I'm the man in Galveston, and that's good enough for me.
Man, I tell you what, those guys, I aspire to get on their level, because I never will. But it's we started a business. So Bobby and I started a business. We started out kind of doing built a partnership with Vernon at Light the Night and started doing LED installs on the bikes here in the Colorado region, and then things just kind of started growing, and we're like, oh shit, we gotta we gotta get a business going, or we're gonna get in some trouble. So we did. We started the business earlier this year, Colorado Motion LEDs, and we started doing some audio stuff. I was back in the day, if you remember Circuit City, I was an audio installer with them. So I've got a background in audio, and I just kind of carried that over. So we do some light to moderate audio work, and then do whatever kind of LEDs you want. So I respect your hard work, man. It's not easy. But let's talk a little bit. You mentioned insurance. Now, we have spoken about insurance on our podcast, and it seems like everybody comes onto the forum boards and goes, hey, what are you paying for insurance? What can I expect to pay for insurance? And they don't really understand, not from a business policy, from a business rental policy, but from a personal policy. They don't understand that there are so many different aspects that determine what your insurance rates are, that no two people will probably ever get the same rate because of that. And people don't understand. There are things like your credit, number completely. Insurance companies in a lot of states, I don't know if all the states, but a lot of the states can make the determination, or help make the determination of where your rate's going to be. Your zip code. I moved from live in the same city, but I moved from one zip code to the other, and my insurance went up like $7 a month. And I'm like, yes, I live in the same city, but but no, it's all done by zip code, and then and so there's a lot of factors that go into that. In your experience with your company insurance policies, do you find that they rely heavily on the owner of that company and what their driving record, or is there a commercial, they look at it as a commercial business and look at those factors?
So my insurance through Polaris Adventures, it's a fleet insurance. So I pay kind of just like a set rate, and if something happens, we have deductibles and stuff like that. So, but that's only if you're with Polaris Adventures. And a lot of people, they're just starting up or what have you, and that's the main question. Well, I can't get insurance anywhere. Well, there was a company that was providing the insurance for a lot of people, and they pulled the plug, and they're working on some things. I don't know if it's going to come back. I've been in talks with them, but since they went away, there's really only one other avenue. I mean, there's two other avenues. There's Turo, which I'm sure you and a bunch of people have heard of, and it's not a bad idea if you're just starting out with one or two. But then once you get to a certain point, you have so many. It's Turo. I mean, they take so much of your money from you. But the common misconception is that people will come in or will rent, and they'll say, well, why can't I use my own insurance? Why do I have to pay for your insurance? And they say, well, my insurance covers a car rental. Well, these are not a car rental. These are a power sport rental, and your insurance will not cover it. And there's a lot of people out there that are renting slingshots that are just using the people that are renting them's insurance, like getting a picture of their insurance thinking, well, okay, well, if something happens, their insurance will cover it. And you are so wrong, and you will get in a lot of trouble. And in the end, you will be screwed. So you're playing with fire when you do that. So my advice to anybody doing that is, if you are, just use Turo for now until we get another avenue going. Don't put yourself in that risk. But
yeah. I think it's funny. So as a kind of fun fact for the day, there are only 2 companies in the entire country that will insure tow trucks. And so when you start getting into power sport rentals and specialty like tow trucks, tow trucks have to carry so much insurance. And most insurance companies don't like to write those policies, and they don't, because you tow I mean, not that you probably would, but you tow a $3 million Bugatti, you're on the hook for that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of risk involved. And I know that you mentioned Turo, and I am a fan. I personally haven't used it yet, but I'm a fan of Turo to rent cars. But here's the other kicker, and I want you to kind of elaborate a little bit. I think everybody out there who rents a car, just rents a normal car from, Avis, Hertz, whatever the case is. If it's a nice car, now if it's just a small car, maybe not, but none of us drive a rental like we drive our own car. Like, it's always hard. It's always harder.
Yes.
It's not our car, as long as we're not breaking it per se.
I'm guilty of it myself. I mean, I own rental companies, and even if I go rent something cool, I got to see what it does.
Exactly right. You have to get on it, and so I think a person who decides that they have their own sling and they want to get into the rental company, I think you're right. I think Turo is a good route, but there's a caveat to that. You have to understand that when you do that, there is a higher level of risk that something is going to break.
Yeah,
go ahead.
that is true. And you don't know who you're renting to when it's on Turo, because anybody can book that and then show up. And then see, I love it because you come in my store, it doesn't matter, regardless, you book online, you call, whatever, you come in my store, we're going to see you, we're going to talk to you. And I've trained my guys the same way. If we get a bad vibe, bad gut, whatever it may be, we're not going to rent to you, because that $200 rental is not worth my slingshot being in the shop for 3 months, waiting for it to get fixed, and all the other stuff you have to go through, which is another issue when you are if somebody wants to rent their personal slingshot, they think, oh, I might be able to make enough money to make the payments, or I might make a little extra money, and whatever may have you. Well, what happens when somebody rents it on Turo, or you rent it out, and then it's the start of the summer and they wreck it or they break something, and then guess what? Your slingshot sits at the dealership for 2 or 3 months, because that's how long it's going to take, if not longer. And you just missed the whole summer, made $0, and still had to make payments to the bank, and you're kind of screwed. Which is why I tell people, you don't have 10 slingshots to rent until you have 15, because you're always going to have an issue. It may not even be a driver error issue. It could be a recall. It could be, you never know what it is. So there is a lot of difficulties, and I went through it too. And it is a struggle to keep all your units. Like, I have 22, and I'm lucky to have 20 on my lot at any given time, because there's always something that has to be done. So that's the way you have to look at it. But I could ramble on, but continue. Go ahead.
No, I hear you, and you make some very valid points. Also, with Turo, I think they use Liberty Mutual as their insurance company, and Liberty Mutual generally is a pretty good company. And Safeco, a lot of folks may not know that Safeco, who I use for my insurance, is a division of Liberty Mutual. And I've heard some horror stories about what they'll pay and what they won't pay as far as damages. They don't always pay out like they should, but they're a typical insurance company. You have to fight with them, and it's just a headache.
It's a process. Exactly. And it takes a while. I've heard the same with Turo. It's sometimes they don't get all their money that they think it's worth, or it took them, X amount of time to get it done, because it's a process and it sucks, and it's not a matter of will somebody mess it up. It's just when they will mess it up, because it is inevitable. I have safety videos. We do walkarounds. We talk you through it. It's on the website. We tell renters 10 times before they leave, and they still will do the things we tell them not to do. And then we keep their deposit, and I don't have sympathy for them because I told you 10 times before you left.
There is no lack of information. You give the right information. And I think, so I have a friend of mine in Vegas who does exotic car rentals. And so he's kind of running the same thing you talked about earlier about kind of screening your customer base, like when they come in, you get a vibe that maybe this is not the kind of guy I want to rent to, whether it's, hey, listen, I've been a cop for 18 years, right? People say, they talk about profiling. Cops profile every day of the week. We don't racially profile, but we profile every day of the week, because you look at persons and situations, and you learn over time. And I think you do the same thing. Somebody rolls up and you're like, you just get a bad feeling about that they're gonna tear my shit up, and it's not worth it. Whether it's something they've said, whether it's their attitude, whatever the case is.
Exactly. I read everyone like a book. It's like as soon as you walk in the door, they don't even know it, but I'm asking questions. It's almost like an investigation every time somebody walks in the door, because I'm trying to get you. But yeah, more times than not, everything's okay, but you can definitely tell. And if you ever get that bad feeling about somebody, then do not rent it. It is not worth the headache, because I've went against my gut before and it's ended very badly. So I've learned my lesson. And at the beginning, when I first started, I learned the hard way on this, but it's like, just anybody, if you have money, basically just take it, rent it. Because when you're starting out, you're like, I need to get this thing paid for. I got to make the payments. And then slowly building up, I got to the point where I was like, I can finally just tell somebody no and not rent to them. So it's kind of like, man, there is a lot of risk involved when you're first starting, because you're just trying to get the name out there, trying to get the money and everything else. But yeah, once you get to that point, luckily that I'm at, you can say no. And yeah, always trust your gut feeling. Always.
I definitely, I could not agree more about doing that. And what new owners of Slingshots, so something else that they don't really truly understand is yes, you have this time that if something breaks on it or gets damaged, you're waiting on parts, and after COVID and all the plants chip shortage and all that stuff, is delayed it even further. But more importantly is money. Right? You break an angle drive, you start breaking splitters and stuff, and that adds up, especially if you're having a dealer to do the work. It really does.
Very expensive. Had somebody pull over a parking block, just barely pulled over the parking block, broke the front support bar, punctured the radiator, messed up some other stuff. It was $2,500 in damage, and it took a couple months because the radiator was on back order. So there.
And now you're down. And if you only have one unit, you're kind of screwed, because
you're done. Yeah.
you're like, screwed, well, yeah. And if you have a shorter riding season like we do here in Colorado, it really puts a damper on it. And I would imagine in Galveston, the riding season is much more extended, much longer. So that helps a little bit. But, in areas like us where we have 3 or 4 months, and then, we're kind of hosed. We have some hardcore riders they'll ride year round, as long as there's not snow or ice on the road.
If it's below 65 down here, I feel like it's winter time, and I'm going to put me a parka on or something, man. But I'm still riding, even when it's 45 or 50. I mean, that's freezing to me, but I'm still riding. I try to ride as much as I can. I barely drive a car. I drive my Slingshot everywhere because it's fun and it's marketing. I think that's kind of what's cool too. That kind of separates me from a lot of other Slingshot companies. Is I'm at the events, I'm riding. I'm a Slingshot enthusiast owner, but also love and have the passion for renting as well. So that's
that makes it even better. Somebody made a comment here on Facebook about, it's not only the people who rent the Slingshot, but then it's all the people, the rubberneckers, right? All the people who are going, look, I've never seen that before. What is that? And then they don't pay attention, and they, run somebody off the road. I've seen it, but Bobby and I have been riding in groups, and people will like take their hands off of the wheel and like try to take video and pictures. Bobby, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, especially we go downtown, and I mean, you think you're in the Thanksgiving Day parade, then people with their running into telephone poles trying to turn around to see you go.
I'm right there with you. Next thing you know, I'm on the highway, got all the lights on. I see a car coming in closer. I look up and they got their phone and everyone's looking at me and I'm like, dude, stop.
Look forward.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just some lights. I get it.
I actually that's funny you say about the rubberneckers and other people not paying attention is I had, I'm not gonna name who it was, but I know a guy from a rental company that had 3 rentals out and they were in a group. There was 3 following each other. A car pulls out in front of them. The slingshot T-bones the car, and the other 2 just smash into the back. So this guy had 3 basically total slingshots and 1 accident.
Oh my God! Holy crap!
Yeah.
Oh well, you know it's funny you mentioned that. Last year we were riding with a group of people. And we were down in Colorado Springs, and I don't know, it was like 13 or 15 of us riding, and it's super difficult to keep that many people together. You know, you usually have to have a blocker comes out, lets everybody go through. But we had one of our friends she started to go, then she stopped, and then the guy behind her was new to the group. He had never ridden before, and he rams her and just like takes the whole front of his sling off. I don't know. It does like some stupid amount of money to hers, but those things happen. You got to be prepared for it.
You got to be ready and prepared. Yep.
I wanted to ask you, so out of your fleet of, you said 22, right?
Yep.
Not counting your 4-seaters, but your fleet of 22 that you have there in Galveston, what percentage are auto versus manual? I've been curious about that.
I would say 8 out of 10 of my rentals are automatic over manual. It's sad because I love the manual. I'm all about the manual, but that's just the way of the world now. And I'd almost be closer to 9 out of 10 rentals. It's usually the last slingshots on my lot are the manuals. Yep. You get random days where all the manuals go out first, and it's like, wow, you get those a couple times, but it's normally, I would say 8 to 9 out of 10 are automatic versus manual. But we tell even customers that come in, we tell them, if you can drive manual, now I'm not hating on the automatic drivers. Automatics are cool, but we tell them that you will have a lot more fun in the manual. If you can drive stick, then take the manual. You're going to have more fun. But then the automatic on the other side is a lot more leisurely. We do have a lot of traffic. It is Galveston. So even if you can't, I get a lot of people that can drive manual, but they'd rather have the automatic just so they don't have to worry about shifting. So it's all preference, and I understand, but it is. It's mainly automatics. And yeah. I mean, I started with manuals. That's how we started the business, but it's all automatic now, which is a smart move for Polaris. But
how many?
Yeah.
I think it's a smart move. I'm sorry, Bobby. Go ahead.
Back after taking the automatics out, and say there's something wrong, or do you go into detail with them about it's not an automatic transmission, it's a standard transmission without a stick?
So we tell everybody that it's not a true automatic. So it's not going to be as smooth as the car you drive. It's an automated manual. So you're going to feel the engine shifting. So that is normal. So like we tell people this, and then they'll call us like, it's kind of jerky or it's high revving. And we tell them you're fine. It's completely normal. It's not like your car. It's not going to be as smooth as your car. It's like you're in a stick shift, but you're not shifting. And once people are out there for 5 minutes to kind of get the hang of it and get used to it. But yeah, we do definitely explain that to them, and haven't had, I mean, you always get like one person that's like, oh, I didn't like it, but 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 people are fine with it.
I tell you, so when we were in Houston, we didn't bring our slings down. It just time and money
Yeah.
purposes, we just didn't do it. But uh, David DDM let us use his to do on some of the night rides, and that was an automatic. And I can tell you with 100% confidence that I hated it. I hated it, and I think Bobby hated it as well. It was an experience. I think it was the first time that neither one of us had been in an automatic.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like it. I just didn't.
It was first generation updates to it or anything, so it was still like their crack at it. But yeah, I missed my stick shift so much after that.
I agree. I'm a manual guy myself. It's even when I drive the rentals that are automatic. I mean, it's yeah, we're just so in love with our manuals that it's just like automatic. It doesn't do it for us. But I will tell you, if I was in a parade, like we do these 4th of July parades or something, I probably wouldn't mind having an automatic because my foot gets a little tired. But
yeah, that makes sense. I can completely see how that would be beneficial. What age bracket? Now, I guess the first question is there a minimum age to rent your slings?
So I do 25 and up. And
Okay.
even when you are 25, my heart still sinks. So, but yeah,
Okay.
we do 25 and up. And usually my renters are between 30 and 50.
30 and 50.
Mostly. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you'll get some older guys in their 60s, or you'll get some youngsters and stuff like that. And we'll work with them.
Do you find that it's probably an equal mixture between men and women that rent them?
It is. It is. I would say it's very equal. We get a lot of both. We get parties of women, we get parties of men, we get the couples, and usually when it is a couple, they want the automatic so the wife can drive and everything like that. So yeah, we do get an all mix of drivers. So
That's awesome. You know, that's great to see, and I'm glad to see that, you know, people who are new to the slingshot community, they get a chance to come to, you know, to come to your business, and they rent these for, you know, whether it be half a day, full day, whatever the case is. You know, I think every rental place charges something different. We're not going to get into rates today. We don't, that's not something we're going to talk about, but what we are going to, one thing I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about your 4-seaters. How many 4-seaters do you have?
I have 2,
Okay.
and 1 currently in the shop.
Okay. So you have total of 3, 2 that are operational, right?
Yep. So I have 1 in Gulf Shores and 2 in Galveston, total of 3.
Okay.
But yeah, just 2 in Galveston for now. I plan on adding another one, hopefully next year.
Now, did you buy them already converted, or did you have them converted?
I bought them already converted.
Okay.
So yeah. Jack, I'm sure you know Jack, UAS.
Jack at UAS, yeah.
UAS certified 4-seater. That's what we got. So, and those kill it, especially for a tourism place like Galveston. A lot of families, and they're so popular that we have to limit the time frames that we offer so everybody can get a chance to drive. But with that being said, we limit like our 2-seaters. We let them go in our like boundaries, I guess you could say, is Galveston County, but on the 4-seaters we just do Galveston Island. They're mainly so you can go up and down the strip, you know, take picture, be seen, and get the experience, and that's about it. That's what we do.
I mean, that makes sense. It really does. You know, talking about Jacker at UAS, I'm not going to go into specifics, but there was an incident. Somebody who sent their sling over to him to have the conversion done. Wasn't happy, and I will tell you that the outcome of that is that Jack is a stand-up guy. I mean, those of you who don't know Jack and don't know his company, it's UAS, which is what, Universal Auto Solutions, I believe, or something. I think
Underground Auto Styling.
Okay, Underground Auto Styling. There he goes.
Yep.
So go check him out. I mean, he has a lot of cool stuff, and he puts a lot of hard work into fabrication. And just know that he's a good guy. Jack is
If
a
it's
good
good
guy.
enough for Shaquille O'Neal, it's good enough for me.
Well, I mean, Shaquille's got like 2 or 3 that he had
That's
him
what I'm
do.
saying.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, there's not much better representation because I think he even he extended one, but it didn't add the second 2 seats. He just extended
Yeah.
the 2-seater for him to be able to fit in that thing. So that was pretty awesome.
Jack is a mad scientist when it comes to slingshots. It's crazy what he has done and can do, and is continuing to do. So
Continuing.
I don't know if you saw
definitely.
his 4-seater Vanderhall, but he did one.
I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
Did you happen to notice today that Mark Zarate or Zarate is putting his up for sale?
Dude,
Did you see that?
that's a steal. That's a steal. I swear to you, that's a steal.
I have been racking my brain all day long to figure out how I can present that to my wife and be like, well, honey, if we we sold this one,
you're not alone.
That is just, it's a beautiful sling.
I'm sitting here like, all I got to do is change the orange to hot pink, and I'm in the game.
That's money, man.
Yeah, that thing is a monster, and he barely drove it.
Billy wanted to have. That's why Billy wanted to have you show, is because he wanted to figure out how that rental business, so he could afford how to pick up Zarate's slingshot.
Oh man, that thing is I love that color combination. I love the air ride on it. Everything about it. It's just a beautiful slingshot. And so whoever buys it is going to be extremely fortunate to have it because, for the price that he's asking for it is great. So, if you're looking for a slingshot, and you can spend a little bit of extra money, I would tell you go talk to him because you're not going to. And it's he had and he'll tell you that he had a bad experience with the new Polaris engine, and he ended up having to have that replaced under warranty. Wasn't anything that he did; it was just a manufacturer defect, and they went ahead and replaced it. And I think he said it's only got like 900 miles on it, man. He doesn't really drive it. But then again, have you seen Mark's car collection? I mean, dude, he's got Lambos, and I mean, he is baller status, man. Baller status.
I'm trying to get like Mark.
I'm trying to get like Mark for real, man. That is he's such a great guy to sit down and have a conversation with him. He and his wife both
very humble, stand-up guy for sure.
So humble. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And we hope to have him on the show hopefully the next episode or two. Have him on and talk a little bit about his business because he, like I said, he's killing it. The whole design for this show was to be informational, support people who are in the slingshot community that are doing great things. And, I think people like you, Billy, have just really inspired folks. And I know that's crazy to say, but I believe that. I believe you inspire people to do what they believe in. If they say, hey, I can make money doing this, you offer a service, right? Where you do a consulting service where you'll sit down with them and go over the ins and outs and help them with it if that's something that they want to do, right?
Correct. Yep. So we do offer that, and we charge basically $250 for 1 hour. But the reason why we do charge is because we get so many phone calls from people that want, the inside scoop and all the secrets, and they end up just wasting your time. So it kind of weeds out who is serious and who's not. And
time is money.
It cuts for $250 to cut your learning curve in half, and to have a friend on the inside it's a good deal. I promise. So
that is a great deal. It is. And, those of you who are, looking to truly start a rental business, and you want somebody who is to kind of help be a little bit of a mentor and give you an inside scoop on how to do, tell you how to do all the right things. Cause I'm sure there's a lot of things that you've done that you probably wished you'd have done differently.
I have learned everything the hard way, which is why I can tell everybody how to do it the easy way or the not as hard way. So I've lived it.
Billy and I built the LED.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Installs. I'd say we have the same experience with the LED installs. Like we
dude.
So we know how to do it right.
we know how to do it right, and because we know how to do it right because we've done it wrong, right?
Yep.
And we have
Exactly.
gone, damn, I wish I wouldn't have done that. But moving forward, you don't do that again, and then you move on, and everything is good. So it is a learning curve. I got to know, right? We talked about this a little bit briefly, but I got to know, what's the craziest rental story that you, like, somebody who's rented? Tell me the craziest story ever. I got to know.
So before I honestly don't have too many crazy stories. Before I tell the crazy story, I will say I've done thousands of rentals, and we're top notch on safety and everything like that. I've had 3 accidents, like people didn't get injured or hurt, but like the slingshot got wrecked. 3 ever that has happened in thousands of rentals. So our statistics are very, very good. But I will say, craziest story, one that comes to my head, I was first starting out. I had 4 slingshots at the time, and there's an outlet mall about 20 minutes away from Galveston, and I had rented these 4 out to this group for 3 days or whatever. So I'm like, oh, sweet. I made my money. I get to go hang out at home now. And I'm actually at the outlet mall with my wife shopping. I get a call from Texas City Police, and they say, hey, we have 4 of your slingshots stopped out here. They're doing donuts, acting crazy, driving reckless. I'm like, where are they? They're like, we're at the outlet mall. I'm like, oh my God, I'm at the outlet mall. So I run outside, and sure enough, there they are. And they were going to impound the slingshots. And I get to tell, I'm telling them, please just let them take them back to my office, and it'll all be good. And we're out there for about an hour. Long story short, I talked the guys into the officer into letting me take them back to the office, and they take them back. And next day I look, and this was like $2,000, which was a lot of money for all that, for the rentals. And they disputed the charges. And then I lost the dispute and basically got my slingshots ragged out, gave it to them for 3 days for free. So yeah, that sucked. That was a lesson learned. Now I know what to do. That was like my first dispute ever. So lesson learned. Another crazy story is the reason why, because a lot of people say, why don't you let your slingshots go to Houston? So I don't let mine go to Houston. I keep them in Galveston County. I tell people, if you want to ride in Houston, go rent from Houston. There's a bunch out there you can rent, go to Houston. I'm not the guy for it. The reason why is because it only takes one to ruin it for everybody, but had a group rent one, and they were in Houston. Supposedly he fell asleep. His sister took it and she totaled it. And it was a nasty total. Like, I'm surprised. And she apparently walked away, but I don't know how, but apparently she did. So that's why I was like, I'm not dealing with that anymore. Crazy things. I really haven't had like crazy, no deaths, no hospitals, nothing terrible. I mean, I think I had a lady sideswipe a car and they took her to jail because she was like, they're like, oh, she got a DUI. We're taking her to jail. Next thing I know, she shows up in the morning and she's like, oh no, they took me down and I passed all the tests. They let me out. I'm like, what? So
what?
Yeah. So she just seems drunk, normal, but I haven't had any crazy. I mean, the typical people. I mean, coming back. Okay, so this is just people being dumb, but people coming back with like in our safety video, we tell you, if you come back intoxicated or with an open container, we will keep your deposit. And a couple of times we've had people literally come back with beers in their hand and in the slingshot drinking, and we keep their deposit. And yeah, most incidents happen when people are drinking alcohol and on overnight rentals. So a lot of my rentals we usually, like, the majority are 2-hour rentals or all day rentals. We do overnight and multi-day rentals, but majority of people are going to do a 2-hour or all day. And majority of incidents happen on those overnight rentals. But yeah, as far as crazy stories, luckily I don't have many.
Dude, I want to bring this up because I had I want the people who have not seen this. I want to share this real quick, dude. Like that is not badass. I don't know what is. That color combo is off the chains. I just want to say, Well done, sir. It is great. I
Thank
got a
you.
chance to talk to your wife. Super cool chick. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting you guys. Listen, if somebody's in the area, let's say they're in um, the Galveston area or any of the spots that you have rentals, what's the best place to get a hold of you? What's your website?
So it's Galveston Slingshot Rentals.net, or you can message us on Instagram or Facebook. But if you type in Galveston Slingshot Rentals on Google, we're the very first thing that pops up. So our algorithm is very good. But yeah, message us on there. Facebook, I'm usually always on Facebook or close to my phone. So I'm very easy to get a hold of. And I'll do you one better. If anybody is watching this and has friends or family, and you're in Galveston and you need a slingshot, I will give you 10% off any rental. And if it's a weekday, I'll probably do something even better for you. So if you're watching this and you got friends or family, I will take care of you.
You're watching this, you heard it here, folks. If you're watching this Facebook Live or recording on YouTube on our channel, and you want to rent a slingshot, you mention our name over to the guys over there, to Billy and the guys over at Galveston Slingshot Rentals, and they're going to hook you up with 10% discount. That's amazing, Billy. Thank you so much for that. Bobby, you wanted to say something. What was that?
I was gonna ask if the rentals.net, does that cover all your locations or just your Galveston location?
That covers just Galveston, but the links to the other locations are on that website. So you can get to the other websites from that website as well.
That's what I was asking. Okay, very good.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Good.
Got some awesome things in the works for some new locations as well. So the grind never stops. So it went from it went from hoping I was going to make some money part-time to a 24/7 business. And luckily I have a team around me that is the most loyal, awesome team. I don't know if they're watching, but Cal, Anthony, and Joseph, those are my guys. And without them, it would not be possible now. I got it to where it was, and then it got to a certain point where it's like, I can't do this alone. And I've had the same guys forever, which is I'm not at the office as much as I used to be because those guys hold it down so much. I have a 2-year-old. I have a wife. So, I'm a dad. I want to be there. So.
Hey, I know the feeling, brother. My riding season has been decreased significantly this year because I have a 15-week old now. I am.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so I appreciate that, man. Thanks
Welcome
again.
to fatherhood. Your first one?
No, it's my second one. Things kind of went south with our first little one, but you know what? Fatherhood is great. I love it. Somebody asked, is it the same Polaris Adventures in Virginia Beach? I don't know if
it is.
It is. Okay, great. Okay, cool, great. Well, Billy, thank you for coming on the show, man. Thank you for telling us about your story, telling us about your business and the grind that you keep doing daily to make it better and better. People like you really give back to the slingshot community, and Bobby and I both really applaud you for that. And we look forward to coming back down there and hanging out with you. And I took my first trip to Galveston when we were in Houston. It's my first trip to Texas, and so we stopped and had lunch at a really cool restaurant down there in Galveston, and really enjoyed it. So guys, hit him up if you're looking for a rental, and he's going to take care of you. So with that, we're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of your hair. And thanks for letting us ramble on for about 45 minutes. And if you haven't noticed, on top are all of our links to our Facebook page as well as our YouTube page. Billy and Bobby Slingshot Show is our YouTube link, and then at Billy and Bobby SS is our Facebook group. Hit us send us a message. You can also send us a message at Billy and Bobby SS at gmail.com. We are very prompt to answer you. So if you're looking for audio, you're looking for lights, and you're in the Colorado area. Oh, and I will mention that we will be very, very soon be doing alignments. We have got a new Bosch alignment machine coming in. So, and it's transportable. It's small enough that we can take it places. So you can expect to see us at some of the upcoming rallies.
Bring it to Texas City.
Hey, I'm all about it. I know Bobby will be jumping on that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
He's from Texas. He lived there for a long time. So we'll come out and hook you guys up. So thanks again. We will see you guys in the next episode. And yeah, man, keep it on all three wheels. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you.